Yeah, that's the familiar tune of Andre de Lang. Now, there are folks sitting with us today that does not know Andre de Lang. This is very problematic. I'm looking at the man now. He's trying to not look in my direction. You cannot see him. I can see him. For those of you who are joining us here on this particular broadcast every single week, thank you very much. We've been away for a short while, and I will find my very good friend Sven Isaksson to explain later who's to blame for that. Swedes are very good at taking blame, so I will ask him to help me with that. Thank you for joining us here on this particular broadcast every single week where we promote vocational training in agriculture in South Africa. Andre de Lang always brings the heat with some lovely, lovely music, and we'll tell you a little bit of a story there later concerning him. Welcome. Well, there we are. Now you can see us. The gentleman sitting right next to me will explain to you right now who he is. One right at the end is Sven. Sven, why were we not here for the last 2 weeks?
The 2 weeks?
Yeah. Where were you?
Yeah, around.
You traveled a little bit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Sven says, of course.
Yeah, it's part of the process.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
I mean, we did say at once.
You too.
Yeah, I traveled as well.
Yeah.
And my good friend Gareth Millar. Let's introduce Gareth Millar to you right now. Gareth, who are you and why?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for having me. To yourself as well, Mr. Linsa.
Sure.
I'm Gareth. I'm from South Africa. We currently work together, and it's been an absolute privilege so far.
Yes.
So that's who I am. Hopefully, I can contribute to today's
show. Absolutely, you will. I have no doubt about that. And when we start telling you what the main theme is, you will understand why Gareth is here. But Sven, back to you.
Yeah.
Where did you go?
Yeah, we were on the actually America, United States, Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spend some time in Spain as well.
Yeah, a little bit of Spain, a little bit of Switzerland.
Yes.
Germany and France.
Yeah.
So yeah, and of course Sweden. Yeah.
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 Now, during the time that you were away, we were wrestling with very, very low temperatures here in Sweden. I had a week of freedom from that, which is week 9, which is the last week in February, first couple of days in March. And I had spent good time getting my natural real color back because, lack of vitamin D and lack of sunshine has meant that I'd gone pale. I don't know if I ever told you, Sven, but sometimes when I travel back home and my mother sees me, the first thing she asks me is, "You okay, my boy?"
Yeah.
Because I look so pale.
You look pale.
Yeah. So she's, she wonders if I'm sick.
Yeah.
And, but it's just the lack of sunshine, of course.
Yeah.
And when I came back one January, a colleague of mine who only saw me with no vitamin D, no sunshine, and saw me coming back with this amazing tan, she says. She shouted out loud in the bus, "But Theo, you were black."
That's funny.
I'll never forget. It was such an innocent, wonderful little comment that she made. I'll never forget her. A very good friend of ours passed away a couple of years ago. Precious, precious heart for people.
But it's amazing that the right response, but it's real too. The level of the vitamin and the sun.
Oh,
it
absolutely.
You adapt,
my goodness.
Yeah. And actually the winters, as in general, are brutal. It's zero D vitamin.
Oh, absolutely.
And actually today, looking out in Stockholm, when the sun is out, everybody's out.
Yes.
Feeding off the sun. You know?
You can see that in Stockholm. There are folks that are sitting in the parks and sitting on benches and soaking up the sun, closing their eyes.
Yeah. And on the flip side, if you're in areas where it's a lot of sun and tropical, you have to stay away at the
Have to
same
be
time too. You
very
know?
careful
Yeah,
there
yeah,
too as well.
yeah,
You're
for sure.
absolutely right.
It's a real thing.
So we do have some news that we would love to share with you. If we just get the news up here, and it tells of what is happening or what happened last week in South Africa that we would love to share with you and that you have on your screen at the moment. And so this is an incredible a story here that last week in a place called George in the Southern Cape. You know where George is, right?
I mean, I've been through George.
Have you been
but
through George? You've never.
Yeah, I've never been in George.
You gotta stick around in George the next time.
I believe it's beautiful. I
It
believe
is-
it's the place to be.
It's fantastic. Yeah. It's so interesting when we decided at one point in our lives that maybe we would love to go back to South Africa, the place we thought we would stay. This is in the late 90s, was George. And I had no idea that I'll be back there in a different capacity. But as you can see here on your monitors, on your screens, phone or however you connect, Concordia triumphs in a social hackathon. Now, Concordia is the name of a place in the Northern Cape. If you don't know where that is, I've got a little map here for you as well to see. But what happened was that there was a hackathon. Now, are you familiar with a hackathon?
I'm actually not.
No. So it's no marathon. You would know.
A marathon.
Yes,
That's correct.
And so a hackathon actually is a combination of some kind of intervention and a marathon, something that is a pressed, innovative problem that you want to solve. You want to solve something and you use
Yeah.
all your skills to solve it. You find a hack. You
Yeah.
find a way to solve it. But marathon is you do it in a specific time frame.
Yeah.
So you're given 24 hours to solve a given problem. And what these young people all had to solve was in everything related to agriculture. And so there were 4 teams, and they had on day 1 they had to find a solution for a given problem, and one had to do with creating healthy food accessible for everyone. Number 2 is growing food indoors. And then they were taking good care of animals. You would love that one particular, Sven. And so these particular projects were then prepared on day 1 and then on day 2 pitched to a set of judges. And on that second day, the winner was announced, and the winner is traveling to Italy now in July to compete in an international hackathon. And so this team won that competition.
Bravo to the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Thanks for saying that, because we're hoping that unless they're listening right now, that we can play this for them at a later stage. But that's the story. We're not going to go into details on that. But that's the entire team there. There were folks from Italy, but there were also international guests from Benin and from Kenya who formed part of the panel of judges. And there's a short video here on this particular, you can't see it now. Well, I have to scroll up here. That's the winning presentation. So they were out there basically presenting their winning idea. And they had to combine it, Sven, you would appreciate this, with a marketing concept, right?
Yeah.
How are you going to market this?
Yeah.
How are you going to use your digital skills? How are you going to use how do you use storytelling? How do you use design? And then thirdly, how do you use web-based platforms like websites and so
Yeah.
on? So that was their winning presentation. They were so articulate. I wasn't there, unfortunately, but I joined via a live feed that was supplied to me. Those are the teachers there that shared this with them. And then here's a gallery, which we will add to this particular live feed post this broadcast. But there they are. Those are the young people that won the actual prize. And the 7 of them are traveling to Italy in July. And they're, of course, very, very excited. They were
Yeah.
absolutely over the moon.
And mind you, that there's like possibly all the teams had amazing. Like if you have a competition, you have a winner, but in reality, you have as many ideas as you have teams.
Absolutely.
So in these cases, sometimes in the end, it will be an idea from another team that becomes implemented in reality.
Oh,
too.
yes,
This is so I was
absolutely.
saying. So it's like that's the cool thing. If you're do this problem solving or ideas browsing is a maturity process. Okay, one win, but in reality, they're like four different types viable in the world. That's ideas and so forth. So I think it's important to promote and tell about all the team's ideas.
You're
You
absolutely
see,
right.
so it's easy sometimes to think, okay, one winner will go further, but all the ideas needs to be put out there,
Absolutely.
and it's just in business and in life and whatever. Wow, a little later, that thing from team number 3 maybe catches on
Yes.
to the right person.
Sure.
You know,
And that's actually what happened. Another screen, we were just flipping
Yeah.
through the 3 teams there. And for those 3 teams received a small little grant
yeah,
for a startup business.
yeah,
So that was, and we were encouraging them to come up with a business plan, try to find matching funding, and try to use the skills that you've learned. And so
Yeah.
you're absolutely right.
yeah. It's the hunger of the
oh, yeah.
ideas, and is part of a resistant and a big process. So the cool thing is actually what they had in General Motors. It was called fast track. So the concept is amazing. You focus on solving a team with different parameters in a time limit. So,
Sure.
so that's a proven concept.
Yeah.
That everybody uses. So it's very powerful.
Right. And what Sven is explaining here is tailed us very nicely with what I wanted to talk about here, because this particular competition here, the idea was that it becomes something that inspires young people.
Yeah.
And is it your sense, Jared, that when we talk about competitions between young people, healthy competitions, of course, that this battle has the potential to increase or improve engagement in the learning process?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, healthy competition is what we thrive on, essentially. Because, I mean, for example, tomorrow we have a fun run.
Yeah.
In order to encourage the students to participate, we give them prizes.
Right.
So that means that everybody has opportunity to begin, everybody has opportunity to attempt to win it. But those that are putting in the most effort, those that are going to be going even beyond what's expected of them, they have the chance to benefit.
Right.
So, I mean, with regards to motivation and interest, I mean, there are internal and external factors. This external factor of there being a prize is absolutely rewarding.
It's helpful.
Absolutely. I mean, and for these young students that have managed to obviously take part and those that have won, it's super exciting.
Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
a trip to Italy,
Yeah.
not only the trip, but I mean, what they could learn, what they could see, their whole life could change after a trip like this. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely encourage any kind of incentive for students, especially the younger generations. Absolutely.
There is the idea also of what it does for teamwork and team spirit. Has that been your sense as a teacher? So you work with young people both as a woodwork teacher, but also as a PE teacher. Does it foster the kind of team spirit that is needed when there is a bit of a battle or a prize?
I absolutely think that it's to benefit all students with regards to having a team that is on the same page, all striving to achieve this same goal. So even if you have perhaps a team where there's not everybody that's on the same page, you have 1 or 2 students that are going to bring them in and say, okay, well, we really want to win. We want you to have the same attitude. And then by that effect, they're all moving in the same direction.
Yep.
So I think it does absolutely.
Yeah. No man is an island, said a poet. I think his name is John Donnan. I think he was actually quoted by one of the guest speakers at this particular summit. At the conclusion of the hackathon, the director of this higher education institution in South Africa came and he basically encourage young people and said the same thing that you are saying, so, and that everyone who participated should be proud as to how far they have come and what they brought into this. And he did mention this whole point of we are not alone when we do these things. We are connected to people, and that's the way it should be. And he quoted John Donne's statement from, or an extract from his poem called "No Man is an Island." And so, yeah, some of the kind of hurdle sometimes in teamwork is that your team is, for want of a different expression, on different levels. How do you, in your experience, how do you deal with that difference sometimes, of these different levels that people say our young people are in? How do you manage to build good team spirit amongst, if that's a reality?
Well, specifically speaking to my PE classes, because I mean, there we have invariably group activities where they have to participate and they'll either have to train together or they'll have to have the same kind of a goal that they need to achieve. And then invariably you speak with the students and you say to them, look, currently right now, how you're behaving, how you're taking upon this challenge, you're not going to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And you question them, you ask them, look, what's your idea? What's your goal for this set challenge? Are you looking to achieve an A? Or are you looking to achieve a C? And then they start to think themselves, okay, well, if I'm looking to achieve more than what Mr. Miller is saying I'm worth right now, perhaps I need to start stepping up a bit. And then you also start to say, okay, guys, are we working together as a team? Can you benefit from each other, giving each other advice, possibly giving each other some steps of encouragement? And then it becomes more of a team effort in the sense that we're all moving in the right direction.
Sure.
So, I mean, that's, for me, that's worked best. Right now, we're busy with the gymnastics topic. So, I mean, it is group work. It is difficult because not all students are interested. But at the end of the day, you say, okay, this is a small piece of where we actually want to be one day.
Sure.
So although you might not be interested, this might not be up your alley. It's something that you definitely want to work on, give your absolute best, because one day when we get to the point where we're going to do final assessment, you're going to be saying, okay, well, I feel proud because I gave my best.
That's a very valid point. That just the sense that you've given your best.
Yeah.
Now, Sven, I know you have views about.
No, but it's a very interesting topic.
Yeah.
As we're talking, because it's amazing to hear from examples in school and reality, and it's the same in sport and different areas, how it is. It's like, how do you balance that? Like looking at a basketball team, then you have a structure of a team. You have the rookies that are new, but you also have the leaders. But then you have the coach. So like you say, you set the preference. You're coaching and giving them the framework. How do we need to do this assignment, and it's like, we're going to take you from here to here, and how do we do it? And in the group you might have somebody more ambitious, leaders, or older, or more driven, and so forth, but that also takes the chance for the other ones. At least they know the framework and the pattern and the responsibilities, and internally you can also then see the leaders taking responsibility and bringing in the rookies and helping out. That's also power. So train the trainer.
Sure.
This is how you, that we talked before, you're learning for life, or you're learning for
Just
for the test.
test.
But it's like human skills. Leader, take care of the group.
Sure.
But it's clear when you have the coach and the leaders, like, this is where we're going to do it. He's not going to run with the ball to the end. No, he's just going to tell them and adjust and keep them in track. Then the team does it later. So it's an amazing analogy, and comparing to some people just go to work where maybe the mission and the objectives and everything in what they're doing makes sense. Then you're kind of lost, But if you have a set of sports or competition, a skill, at least it brings people together, and then at least if you have the driven people, they will make it and be more hungry, but at least you have the framework, and it's an easier way of working with people too. But the responsibility of the leader then is to, hey, come and work. What do you need? The research, how do we do this, and the ins and out. And then maybe later, as they say in basketball, now we have the transfer window.
Sure.
So some people are going to go to a different team or whatever, but you bring on those skills, and you're in different settings, and that's how we need to learn how to function as humans in new settings and in different roles, know. And then somebody got to figure out where every person fits best, and that's attentive and leadership, like we talked about. That's real leadership,
Sure. For those of you who have just joined us, we're talking about just competition based
Yeah.
on, and as you can see on your screen now, it's a hackathon that happened in South Africa last week between the 11th and the 12th of March, where students from 3 locations were competing for the grand prize of traveling to Italy to participate in an international competition.
Yeah.
But also the 3 runners-up of teams were given some startup funding to take their specific idea to the next level. But you were talking about the role of coaches and teachers in that space, and I really want to give a compliment and a shout out to these 2 gentlemen that you see here. So the one to the left, I'll say, is the trainer of the trainers.
Yeah.
This is exactly the relationship that we have here between a senior coach, 30 odd years of experience in agriculture,
Yeah.
knows the area, knows people, knows systems, understand agriculture, and a young protege that is a tech guru, by the way. So he loves agriculture, but he is technically very, very savvy. And so the success of this team, I think, is very, very connected to the way that Leon October here has been able to take Marco Engelbrecht under his wings. It's a beautiful illustration of a very, very successful outcome once the trainer has taken on the responsibility that I'm not only working directly with these young people, but my main task is to work with Marco and let him shine, strengthen him. This is something we don't always have in the teaching profession, isn't it? We should have more of that, would you think?
Well, I mean, incredible shout out to Leon and Marco, of course,
Yeah.
and as well as the winning team.
Sure.
But yeah, in order to learn, you need to be able to be willing to work with somebody, listen, and this is also a very difficult factor to think about, because
Sure.
then you're going to be told, okay, perhaps you're doing wrong. You should probably do it like that. So in today's world, I think it's very difficult in terms of an easy passover. I think in terms of Leon and Marco, I think that's very respectable. And I'm sure Marco has a lot of respect for Leon based on the fact that he's got all this experience.
Sure.
It's a hidden gem, you can say. I mean, there's so much that I already have learned from you, Mr. Lindsay. And I mean, we very rarely get to speak, but I mean, based on the way that you enter the classroom, you captivate the audience. It's very interesting. And the thing is, like, you may not have taught me anything, this is how you will do it, but you very much teach in the way you carry yourself, the way you conduct yourself, how you teach your students. So yeah, I think this kind of relationship, it's something that's sorely missed, but at the same time, it's something that we should very much be appreciative of.
Yeah, absolutely.
And encourage.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. And I do think there's a case to be made for the fact that it's really probably the better way to go. And we talk about investing in the future does not just mean that I have to stand in front of young people all the time. I need to spot a younger protege. I need to snipe for somebody that is showing potential and interest. And the fact that this young man has not really had most of his life focus on agriculture shows just what a great teacher Leon's been to bring him along, but also utilize and depend on his strengths. Because now the older folks are not so good with technology. Marco this is second nature to him. So in a way, he's also giving back to Leon some of the technical support that is required. And then he's also an avid cyclist. He's a real can we say a fitness guru? He cycles. This boy is a really wants to make sure that he stays healthy, but he enjoys it as a sport as well. So, and he's calm, is as calm as a cucumber. I've seen, him interact with the young people there. It's just wonderful to see him. And we need more of it. You're absolutely right.
Sorry.
Sven, have you... not a problem.
Dry in the throat. Sorry.
Not a problem.
And I think key network. It's a setting. It's an event. It's a cool thing. You know, bringing people together, and it's like everybody's approachable. Everybody needs to be trained. We all need each other.
Sure.
It's important. Forums. People are not alone, and they need to work all the time of sharpening the saw and the skills and whatever. You know,
Right.
nothing is final. You work, and the other thing is too. It's good to have a level of competition. Here you have the winner, but how about the other ones?
Yeah.
It's easy work with these for comeback power, hunger. Maybe team number 3 has come on, working harder, a bigger hunger to succeed too, because you need a resistance to build strength.
Sure.
You know, so it's always exciting every setting of analyzing, but when it's good at least to have people together under a banner of a thing, and like here, it's you're solving a real problem.
Oh,
too,
absolutely.
you know, and
Yeah.
sometimes if I make like a highlight back to whatever when they do business courses or whatever, they force you in the end to work in teams. So maybe you go for a special course, and then suddenly it's teamwork, and you get thrown into a mix. It's important. You have to be adaptable and handle different. It's people skills. And many people think in a silo. I don't want to be seen. I don't want to be talked. But I work on this over here. That's not life, you know. And it could be in some classes, in some instances, like, well, I'm doing A work here, and now I got to work with these guys that are not motivated. Welcome to the real world. You got to be able to go through that. You're not in your top, you know what I mean? Who's carrying who? So the other guys maybe do C and D work, but in the end, that's the result you have in a company or whatever. So it's on all levels, you know, teamwork and being able to adapt. And like you say, with the leadership, somebody's picking and choosing. Your role is here right now. You're doing this.
Right.
We need this for the bigger picture.
Sure.
And trust that guy to bring that home, you know? So instead of everybody else an opinion about marketing or whatever, it's just like you got to know your place too, because you're here for a long story, you know. And many people, if they're young or whatever, they're so ambitious and they want to make things so fast. Hurry slow, you know. That's important too, you know. It's like, whoa, we're all
Good way
part
to
of a
say it.
big
Hurry slow.
experience, you know. You got to go slow and build your experience in many different settings, and be around people, take some different jobs, take some different things, and celebrate the wins. Like here, celebrate whatever you can. In horse
Absolutely.
training, it's 1% a day. You don't need. That's amazing that, like you said, it's a life opportunity of this team can go to Italy and they can change their life. And that should be celebrated, you know. But for every team, for everything, it should be celebrated internally in the team. I think the leader's responsibility is then to go back to the others. It's like, whoa,
Yeah.
how do we take this further? Let's create a group.
Yeah.
Don't be dependent on the boss over here. You don't need those guys' approval. Find your own way, you know, and get them hungry to find new ways forward and research it and work hard, you know, because in many countries they're like, you want to break through barriers. It's going to take time and effort, you know,
Yeah.
but you're not wasting your time. That's the number one thing. You work into something good, you know.
I'm glad you're saying that, because I have a question about confidence to foster this kind of
Yeah.
confidence that we all need.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's one of the things I can see from these pictures, and I've got this one up on the screen now. It was just so remarkable how this particular team, if you have a moment to actually look at the video and how they present it,
Yeah.
they were just, you know, being on a stage is not easy.
No.
Right, standing in front of people is can be quite frightening, and then because you know the stakes are high, so individual confidence and individual just trust in your own skill and skin, comfortable in your own skin, on a stage where the team is depending on you to deliver, so that the team can win. That's a lot of pressure, right? And the sense is that the fact that they've worked together has produced quite a lot of confidence in each other. And
Yeah, and a benefit for their lives. If you put that on a CV, then you can work in teams.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
You're like, You know what I mean? Like we say, that's a life skill. If you're a part of this and you work in a team and you presented a thing, it's like you're so attractive
Oh, yeah,
for
absolutely.
employee. For like that's an amazing thing to put in your own CV.
So, yeah.
So for getting hired and advanced in life, you know.
It's something that we definitely get. If I think of, if I think of the two of us as South Africans, like when we think of um, what we know some of our young people struggle with, especially in rural communities where you don't see much happening. You were talking earlier about sometimes in these big modern cities in Europe,
Yeah.
sometimes can be so dead quiet and nothing's
Yeah.
happening. Um, we've seen this in the South African setting where there's just a lack of lifting your head and everything is down.
Yeah.
Here's a group of young people that whose heads have lifted up. There's been sort of improved confidence in what the future can now look like.
Yeah.
Great for the CV, sure, and also great for what things can look like. Do you feel, Gareth, that that is a valuable asset to acquire, especially when you are in a setting that sometimes don't give you the confidence? Like Sven says, you got to take the moments, grab them, and not have this victimized sort of approach, but to grab moments that can produce confidence.
I mean, it's so difficult because, I mean, us two coming from South Africa, we have an understanding of what young individuals possibly go through, how they experience their upbringings, and how difficult it can be for certain individuals. But at the same time, if I look at this photo here that you have right now on the screen, I mean, I see, they say a picture can tell you 1,000 words. And I mean, this is just incredible. I'm flabbergasted, actually. I mean, I see such potential. It just gives off such a radiance of happy energy. I feel like these young individuals are striving for something. They're taking the opportunity. I hold my thumbs for the best for them. But at the same time, I mean, that talk of confidence, it's some people have it naturally, and some people need to fake it. Not in a negative way, but I mean, you fake it until you make it. I mean, there's gonna come time where you say, okay, now I need to do this.
Yes.
And although it might be the absolute worst thing that you possibly could think of doing, you gotta actually fake it till you make it and get up and do your best. And yeah, but confidence is difficult. It's not for everyone. And to stand up there and present like these individuals have done, like you've clearly spoken about, it's heartwarming. And I'm
Yes.
super proud to be affiliated and say I'm South African and this is what we put on the stage.
Fantastic. We did promise that we'll give you a sort of a snapshot, and we've got the map up there, and you can see Concordia there is into the northwest of South Africa. Those other two locations are where the rest of our schools are. Here on the map, you can see there's George, and that's where the hackathon was. And then a little bit to the east, a little bit northeast, there's Haarlem.
Yeah.
That's a sort of a more local area. But right here on the top, very close to the Namibian border, is this little place called Concordia. Very dry, semi-desert area. Sven, almost like, I don't know if you've heard of the Kalahari Desert.
No.
No. So very, very, I mean, Namibia and this whole region here has an enormous, vast landscape of just sand, right? And so you wonder what can grow in Concordia.
And that's the key too. For agriculture, you need water. But that's a
Yes.
different subject. But like you
Yes.
say, the view, like it's amazing to hear from you, Gareth. Like you say, what the picture that sent us out from South Africa. Good. It's so easy to have opinions or whatever from every country, for every group. You can send out photos on events like this. It changes the opinion step by step. So
Yeah.
this is positive propaganda, like that needs to be celebrated and out
absolutely.
there, because it's easy otherwise go back to views or problems or whatever. So like just putting these kind of things out and really talk and use examples and follow up, just being part of a very, very positive professional process. And when you look at this is like top notch.
Yeah.
Like it's not given at all. in skills of presentation or whatever. That's high up there, and confidence or whatever. It's not growing on trees. It's number one hardest thing for a person, to do, worldwide.
But I mean, these individuals that have won, that now going to represent South Africa on the international front, I mean, they themselves have become role models because they are somebody's role model where they come from in Concordia or George or Harlem. So it's a ripple effect. And the thing is, if we can have students that are continually developing, continually showing that there's promise, there's opportunity, it's just a ripple effect in terms of being better for younger generations, for them to see that there is opportunity, there is somewhere for us to progress, and hopefully it just develops on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, I would agree 100%. So, time flies when you're having fun. This particular song that Andre sings, we like it. We start with it and we finish because the name of the song is "You Such a Treasure." Such a treasure. And that's what these young people are. So this is the outcome. This is how it not ended, but this is this particular episode of these young people's lives. But there's a lot of things that happened before this. And we'll touch on that next time we are connected. But it's been very, very encouraging to listen to both of you as you reflect over this and just to value that competition and a little bit of mental and intellectual battle can bring to relationships, building great teams, lifting the spirit, and also showing confidence. And then also a very, very good indicator of success lies in a training of the trainer approach when it comes to the coaches and the teachers. And did you want to add something before we say goodnight there, Sven?
No, I think it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. Good summary. Good episode.
Yeah.
Great discussion.
Thank you.
We can dig
Gareth, I really appreciated you coming and joining us this evening.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
Yeah.
been an absolute
And you're
pleasure.
definitely welcome next time as well. For those of you who've joined us, we really appreciate you spending your time with us. Do join us next week, same time. That would be 7 p.m. Central European time, and that's 8 p.m. South African time. Good night, everybody. Sven, thank you.
Thank you.
Gareth, thank you.
Dank je, meneer.
Dank je. Tot ziens allemaal.
Tot
Goodbye.
ziens.
I found what